Back in the USL groove, the West is wide open and the East is only coming down to a couple few there. Welcome to All Talk, All USL Talk, USL. Come on, latest scores, news, and developments from the second highest division in the United States men's professional soccer system, the USL Championship. I am your host, as always, Vince Galvano. Happy Monday. October 2025, episode 71, episode 32 of season 2 of Talk USL. We are back after the week hiatus. I hadn't put out any official communication, but if you listened to the last episode all the way through, you knew that I wasn't going to be around this week. Or I should say last week, that is. I was back home, back in the States, back in New York. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of, for a wedding of my best friend. It was a great time, right in the heart of Manhattan. I also had the chance to go to my old stomping grounds at the high school. Both my brothers in the midst of their coaching season, one doing JV, the other one doing varsity, so I had a chance to catch my first varsity game in like 11 years, going back to where I played in high school in Rockland County, New York. So that was a lot of fun to get a chance to coach the guys a bit, visit a practice, exchange a couple words of wisdom, shape the future of the sport. And man, oh man, got the coaching bug. Absolutely loved it. Loved this game. And so much to talk to on today's show. We have a lot to catch up on. Obviously, goal of the week. We'll talk about who's clinched, who has not. We have only one more week to go in the USL Championship of the regular season. October coming to a close. MLS has concluded this regular season. USL still have a little bit of a week to go here. So, like I said in the opening show notes, the West is wide open. Meanwhile, though, in the East, only 3 teams left to compete for that final spot. We'll talk about who those 3 are shortly. We'll talk about focus on from the Rondo, the USL newsletter from Nicholas Murray. Focus on Loudoun United reaching the USL Championship playoffs for the first time in, I think, 3 years it is. I have to double check that, but we'll get into what that means for that club as they're currently 5th in the Eastern Conference. Louisville City claiming the second consecutive USL Championship Players Shield. A little bit of notes on that. I have Player of the Month, albeit I would have reported in last week's episode, but I wasn't recording last week. San Antonio, you'll be very happy to know your player got the USL September Player of the Month. We'll talk about who that is. We'll talk about the fixtures this past week, including I had a chance to sit down and watch a little bit of OC San Antonio. Second half there towards the tail end of that. So, man, oh man, what a goal that was by Silla. We'll get into all of it and much more. If you're enjoying the show, if you're back with us and you haven't ranked us yet on the podcast platform you're using to listen to the show, make sure you do that because we are everywhere where podcasts are. Talk USL on social as well, at Talk USL. If you want to write me at an email, talkuslchampionship@gmail.com. So we'll get into it right now. Matchweek 29, really we can say here. Championship fans' choice goal of the week. For last week, we had a couple, but ultimately it went to Jack Gurr and Hartford versus Sacramento. On October 11th, the veteran Sacramento defender, really he's a defender, poked in a goal just before the break, having Hartford's advantage in a USL Jägermeister Cup final rematch. That got 51% of the fan vote. Congrats to him. Second place was Stojanovic from Oakland. Within minutes remaining in the match, former United States Youth International volleyed in a long-range equalizer to salvage a draw against Oakland. So those were the 2 that were really top of the bowl there. Elsewhere was J.J. Williams and Stephen Kelly from OC. J.J. Williams from Rhode Island there. So that was that. So let's talk about the playoffs. Who clinched, who has not? Well, for starters, let's focus on Loudoun United because now looking at the eastern side of things, they are safely through. Pittsburgh, Hartford, Charleston take a bow. Louisville, they've already clinched, we know that, but they also have home field advantage because they are the Players' Shield winners. Talk about Loudoun. Focus here because 5 years ago, reaching the playoffs, I think, would have been almost unthinkable. It was a shortened pandemic 2020 season. The side only won once in 13 games. The following year, right, 4 times in 32 regular season contests, recording 25 defeats, tied for the third most in a full regular season all-time, a terrible record to have. Then, after Riley Bedois' winner lifted the side to a late 1-0 victory against Detroit City it was that Saturday, I believe it was, October 10th? Yes, it was. Boom. A single season club record for wins with its 12th of the season. The changes that have occurred recently at several fields of the past years were front and center. United advancing to the postseason for the first time. That's right. Before and after, there's no getting around Loudoun's history. Established as a reserve team, DC United in 2019. The side was competitive in its first year. It was under 500 overall. It won 11 times, finished only 4 points out of the playoff spot. Then changes had occurred, right? The acquisition of a club by Attain Sports and Entertainment prior to the 2023 season, subsequent merger with Virginia Revolution Soccer Club earlier this year, saw the United pivot to independence. Loudoun brought control over roster decisions in-house. That allowed Loudoun to build a balanced squad, featuring not only younger talent like Bedois and Abdelatif Abukara, but also veterans Florian Vallot, to give you an example there, Pedro Santos, each of whose quality and experience proving invaluable this season. And then you have Mr. Consistent, the guy at the helm of the transition, currently the second longest tenured manager in the league overall. Head coach Ryan Martin, who has gone from one of the most respected coaches among his peers to the leader of a side that's not only playoff bound, but also in contention to host an Eastern Conference quarterfinal with 2 games left to play in the regular season. This was an old Rondo. Now only 1 week, but Loudoun had lost this past weekend to a side, Indy 11. We'll get into that later. But the point is, last season, with the postseason within reach, Loudoun faded down in its final stretch. In an important experience for the club, they learned from it. Loudoun now is seeing this place with room to spare, a testament to the environment and belief that Martin has built within the locker room, which, marks an historic season. And what he had said after the victory in Detroit, and it was 2 weeks ago now, right? I'm so proud of the group of guys. We knew that what we were capable of, our group never gave up. The win means a lot to us and just shows the toughness and perseverance of this team. Toughness and perseverance has, been, hallmarks in Loudoun's current campaign. They've already achieved breakthroughs. Take a look at this. Group stage, USL Jägermeister Cup, they defeated Louisville City for the first time since 2019. Propelled them to the knockout stage of that tournament. It was eliminated in a penalty kick shootout by Sacramento Republic, who were eventually finalists of this during a sterling performance in the competition's quarterfinals. Now it's in line to clinch a home playoff game. And that's the thing to really be noteworthy of. As Martin had said, our job is not finished. We want to finish the regular season strong and get ready for the playoffs come November. So congrats to Loudoun United on clinching for the first time Eastern Conference. And man, oh man, if you can get a Segra Field home game, that would be something to marvel at as well. So we mentioned Pittsburgh have clinched. Hartford, who have had a remarkable season, currently third place in the Eastern Conference, they've clinched. Charleston, we know, clinching as well. Louisville City, boom, they're set, 70 points. Historic season. We'll talk about them right now in the sense that, take a look at that second consecutive USL Championship Players Shield. And it wasn't when officially it happened, it wasn't a vintage Louisville Certains, but 2 of its vintage players who've been key parts of the club's long-standing success ensured the night would end on a high note. And that was, against Miami FC, Brian Ownby's first goal in almost 2 years off of an assist by Cameron Lancaster, which delivered the 1-0 victory. 10,237 fans at Lynn Family Stadium as the club sealed its second consecutive player shield. The victory was Louisville City's 7th in a row, longest winning streak since the abbreviated 2020 season, as it's moved well clear of Charleston. Ownby, whose goal was his first since October 29, 2023, became the 15th different player to find the net for the side in the league this season, while Lancaster, the 16th player to notch an assist, highlighting the depth that Louisville, has in the first team to win consecutive player shields since Orlando City had done it back in 2011 campaign and 2012 campaign. Danny Cruz, head coach of Louisville City, has said, essentially, it's an incredible group of people. Certainly grateful that I get to come to work every day with these guys. We've spoken plenty about the importance of the fact that it means that the playoffs run through Lynn Family Stadium. I think that's obviously critical, so really, really proud of the group, proud of my staff, proud of the players. But this is just the first step. We have a lot more to do, and that's a big thing. I mean, Louisville, they know that this was inevitable. But now, looking back to last season, this is great. We'll take the win, but the playoffs are going to be where it matters. And they got upset last year against Rhode Island. So we will see what happens this time around. But Louisville, odds-on favorites for sure to raise that USL championship in November. Time will tell for sure. Let's talk West because it's wide open. FC Tulsa at the top. They've clinched for the first time in quite some time. Sacramento, second place at the moment. They've clinched. New Mexico United have clinched. And guess what? El Paso Locomotive. What a turnaround. They have also clinched in the Western Conference side of things. We have official eliminations for the likes of Oakland Roots, Monterey Bay, and Las Vegas Lights. The pattern there, Nocerino was the coach in Miami last season. The worst club of the 2024 campaign. Now Las Vegas, he had been head coach in the beginning, now no longer. Take a look where Las Vegas are now, bottom of the Western Conference with only 26 points from 29 matches played. So those are the teams that are eliminated. Miami have been eliminated from West Eastern side. Birmingham have been eliminated from Eastern side. So the West is wide open from 5th to 8th, all to play for. Phoenix Rising, San Antonio, Colorado Springs, Orange County, and Lexington are those 5 teams. We'll talk about the most recent performances, what it means, what it implies. But those are the 5 that are competing in the West for a playoff spot. So much to determine there, and we'll get into it in terms of important games. But right before we do that, a shout out to San Antonio's Jorge Hernandez being voted USL Championship Player of the Month for September. He had announced, that was announced not last Thursday, but the Thursday before that. He had been presented by Konami eFootball with 5 goal contributions in 4 appearances, the USL Championship Player of the Month for September. He tied for the league lead in goal contributions that month, 3 goals, 2 assists in those 4 appearances, recording that shooting accuracy rate of approximately 71%, shot conversion rate of 43%, leading the league with 16 chances created over the month. He earned 48% of a weighted poll that included the USL Championship Technical Committee, a national panel of independent media representing every USL market, and an online fan vote held at USLChampionship.com. We always shout out the fan vote, right? He had received 63% of that fan vote, and that carried in the end an aggregate weight of 32%. In terms of media vote, actually went to Peter Wilson. And then the USL vote also went to Peter Wilson, right? So that's the thing. Fan votes really carry a significant amount of weight when it comes to it, right? Between fan, media, and then the official USL vote. Total vote percentage then went to Jorge Hernandez, 48%, 29% to Peter Wilson, who finished second. In third place was Cal Jennings with 13% of the total vote. And Paul Marie was the last one there for Tampa Bay with 10% of the vote. Hernandez has said he wants to give a special shout out to all his teammates. Without them and their hard work every day, this wouldn't be possible. It's great to be named Player of the Month, but all eyes are on the upcoming games to clinch playoffs and also secure a home playoff game if possible. This award is well-deserved for Jorge. San Antonio head coach Carlos Lamosa said, "He was good in September for us, scoring goals and creating lots of opportunities. Fantastic. Hopefully in October he's at the same level for us and shooting even higher than last month." So congrats again to Jorge Hernandez. That was announced on October 9th, 2025 on USLChampionship.com. All right, let's transition into what was the midweek fixture. This time around, OC taking on San Antonio. This one ending in 1-0, a tight battle. Midweek fixture Wednesday night, October 15th. Had the chance to sit down, watch the game with my dad, my 2 brothers. We just had finished a nice LAN party on FC all together, playing a little bit of clubs. And then we celebrated pre-celebration of my younger brother's birthday. It was already quite late, so then on East Coast time, we were able to follow along and watch the tail end of the OC game. And things looked pretty well. I have to give a shout out because second minute of stoppage time, and this was a substitution made by Danny Stone. I have to give him all the credit, right? Ousmane Silla, the Senegalese player, comes on, I think towards the tail end of this game. I think it was probably around the 75th minute or so. And it's the second minute of stoppage time. It looks like it's going to be a 0-0 game. And honestly, would have been okay for both sides. San Antonio would have walked away fine with that. But OC definitely wanted something from this. Kevin Partita lofts a long ball forward. And Silla, who's got the fresh legs, sprints past, and I mean sprints past the San Antonio back line. He rounds Sanchez and coolly slots home in front of the OC faithful for his first goal of the season. Arguably one of the most important goals of the season. A massive victory, vaulting OC back into the playoff position. It was a 9-match winless streak broken in dramatic fashion at Championship Soccer Stadium. It was a cagey first half. This we knew, both sides struggling to find a rhythm. Second period opened up as chances began to flow. Both keepers pretty much standing tall all the way. San Antonio, Richard Sanchez, Colin Schuller, each producing some crucial saves to keep things level. But San Antonio's scoring woes continue. They have now gone 384 minutes without a goal. It's the longest drought in club history. And man, oh man, Ousmane Silla, the 2023 Mac Herman Trophy winner, scoring his first professional goal in clutch fashion. Congrats there to OC. We'll get into also their matchup against Louisville City. We can just hop right into that. I don't mind just going straight full OC to start off. So then, the big task ahead of them, taking on Louisville City at home. Louisville City, again, off the cusp of clinching the second consecutive player shield. So, obviously you have that in mind, maybe some rotation going on, but it was a night of fine margins. It was a 0-0, that draw that felt more like a chess match. Louisville nearly struck first. Philip Goodrum's near post header was clawed away by Colin Schuller. The host responded with a thunderous effort from Ryan Doman that crashed off the post midway through that first half. Second half saw some of the more. Both sides probing, but now they're blinking. Louisville, Jansen Wilson went close just before the hour. Moments later, Goodrum almost capitalized on a scramble in the box, but OC clearing their lines. Late drama came in stoppage time. Chris Hagard denied by Damian Loss before Brian Omby's curling effort clipped the crossbar when the whistle blew. Now that team could find the breakthrough and the points were shared in a result that did keep OC's playoff hopes alive. Colin Schuller, the player performance standout of the night. Schuller's composure, sharp reflexes anchored a resilient defensive effort. 5 saves on the night, including a crucial stop on Goodrum. 7th clean sheet, and keeping OC's playoff hopes alive as Louisville City's 7-match winning streak and 7 straight road wins coming to an end, though the extended draw releases to their shutout streak to 411 minutes across 4 games. Wilson was the FOTMOB player of the match with an 8.5 rating. Colin Schuller did have an 8.1 rating on FOTMOB, with Ryan Doman getting the third best performance with an 8.3. That's how things look for OC. They keep their playoffs alive, and we'll see what happens next time around for their final match of the season. We'll talk all new fixtures and so forth later. We'll get into Lexington taking on Sacramento. It's a tale of two halves in Kentucky. Sacramento roared back from 2 goals to earn a dramatic 2-2 draw. The host did stun the visitors early. Marcus Epps whipping across for Corey Burke. He nodded at home just 5 minutes into the first half. Lexington nearly double lead before halftime, but Danny Vidiella stood tall with 2 key saves, including a full stretch dive to deny Blaine Ferry's free kick. Sacramento came out firing after the break, pinning Lexington deep and creating several close chances. But against the run of play, Epps struck again in the 80. Oh, there goes my phone. In the 64th minute, curling a brilliant shot in the top corner to make it 2-0. Just when it looked out of reach, Sacramento's veterans took charge. Lopez picking out Pirano for a header in the 85th minute to half the deficit. And then deep into stoppage time, Jack Gers looping cross found Sebastian Herrera, who buried the equalizer. It would be a would-be winner from Corey Bennett. Moments later, it was ruled out. However, comeback point felt just like a victory for the Domino Club. Never just say die attitude. They've now come down from 2 goals in consecutive matches. Meanwhile, Marcus Epps involved in both Lexington goals, arguably the player of the season for Lexington. But it won't go too much in the history books if they don't clinch that playoff spot. Danny Vidiella was immense on this one. Multiple first half saves to keep his team alive. 3 saves on the night for him, as well as 3 saves for the Lexington goalkeeper. Shots on target 5 apiece for each. Meanwhile, 6 corners in the night for Sacramento. Grace Ogata-Buehler there with the coverage on Sacramento's official website. Charleston taking on Detroit at Patriots Point. It was an hour of tactical sparring. Nothing had occurred. And then, once the 60-minute happened, things just, came to life. Charleston finally breaking through in the 65th minute. An Aaron Malloy corner. Ball deflected off of Michael Bryant. Fell to MD Myers, who hammered home for his 5th straight match with a goal. His 15th in league play. But the Battery's joy short-lived. Just a minute later, Atez Juve struck back for Detroit, leveling the match with a composed finish. Both sides hunting for a late winner, but instead they shared the spoils in a tense 1-1 draw that felt every bit like a playoff preview. Charleston did have 72% of the possession, but Detroit's Carlos Herrera held firm. Teams went into the halftime scoreless, and then obviously that's when things kind of came to life a little bit after that. Myers is on fire, though. 5th consecutive match, keeping himself 1 goal behind teammate Cal Jennings in the Golden Boot race. Them two have been absolutely insane. I think they are at, if I'm not mistaken, 29 goals. I can confirm this later when I take a look at the page. 29 goals between the two of them. Head coach, though, Ben Pierman, described it as a playoff-type match. He did praise Detroit's resilience in calling for his side to be more assertive and a little more reckless in the attacking there and taking a bit more risks there. But MD Myers, league's hottest striker, continuing that form, probably will be arguably October's player of the month if things continue in this fashion for Charleston Battery. Detroit will take that point, but they leave it up to chance on the final game week for them. Tampa Bay taking on Hartford in this one. We should mention, by the way, the game that I did not cover from Hartford last time around, they did have a nice little bit of a trophy celebration on Friday after winning the USL Cup final. There was also the Hartford mayor in attendance, Arnon Arulampalam, who had said, spoke a little bit as well to local reporters, saying that we are so proud of the team. They embody the city, the boldness of the city, the grit of the city. And this is the city's cup. It's going to go all around Hartford, to schools, to hospitals, and community centers. The team has called the capital city home for the last 7 seasons and is Connecticut's only professional soccer team. So obviously celebrating that USL Jägermeister Cup trophy, a little bit of silverware. Great to see that as well. And in fact, the mayor is involved, and just a nice little token of appreciation and what it means for the city of Hartford. They traveled to Tampa Bay this past weekend. Tampa Bay really nothing. I shouldn't say that. Excuse me. I should not say that. Tampa Bay nothing to play for. Excuse me. Scratch that off the record. Tampa Bay, man oh man, Mendez masterclass. Rowdy's playoff hopes are alive. It was a must-win night in Al Lang Stadium, and they found their rhythm. Talisman Alex Mendez led a thrilling 3-2 victory. Tampa Bay struck early in the 8th minute. Mendez launched a perfectly weighted long ball over the top to spring Manuel Arteaga, finished clinically for his 9th goal of the season. By the 25th minute, it was 2-0 as Women's Passias ripped a strike from the top of the box into the net, giving the Rowdies full control. Hartford pulled one back just before halftime through Angelina, who tucked home from a close range off of a Jack Panayotu assist. Mendez restored Tampa's 2-goal cushion in spectacular style in the 56th minute, rifling a 30-yard screamer off the inside of the post, and in really, really incredible. Angelina struck again in stoppage time for Hartford, but the Rowdies held on, surviving the late push to seal a vital 3 points and stay alive in the playoffs. Mendez's first goal for the club, midseason signing, delivering his most complete game yet, a goal and an assist, and commanding that midfield. Arteaga has now scored in 3 straight home matches, continuing his strong finish to the campaign. On the night as well, Alex Mendez completing 23 of his 26 passes, adding 3 interceptions and 4 recoveries. Obviously, earning player of the match honors, a really full-around performance where Tampa Bay needed it the most. And we'll get into Tampa Bay because it's very interesting. I'm going to mention it right now just because we are here. Tampa Bay play Detroit next weekend. Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Arguably, I think one of the most interesting games this upcoming weekend, besides OC and Indy 11. But to put things into perspective, Detroit are sitting with 36 points. Tampa Bay is sitting with 33 points. So a win for Tampa and a loss for Indy 11 could mean that Tampa make the playoffs. So don't count them out. I know that Eastern thing is tight there. It's really in Detroit's hands. If they get the win against Tampa, they're going to be in, right? But if they draw against Tampa and Indy 11 win, adios Detroit, adios Tampa. So keep this in mind. And when I say Tampa, and Rowdies, they've had an up and down season, especially down for most of it. So the fact that at the last week of the season, you have a chance to clinch playoffs, based upon obviously what other teams to do, in particular Indy 11, you're taking on Detroit. What a game that will be. Rhode Island clinching the playoff spot with a gritty draw in Carolina, as well as North Carolina clinching that playoff spot. I think this is typically what you'd see when both sides understand the lay of the land. 2 shots on target for Rhode Island, 3 shots on target for North Carolina. Not too much in terms of big chances between the two of them. The host essentially to have a call of their own in the 56-minute. Pedro Delabella met Olex Anderson's cross in the near post, but Coca Vegas reacted brilliantly to turn the shot wide, one of the 3 saves of the night for the Spanish keeper. Albert Dickwood had a chance to win it for Rhode Island late, but the header drifted just wide. The match ended scoreless, and the point is enough for Rhode Island to send the playoffs second straight season, while North Carolina's win the streak stretched to 4. But for North Carolina's side, they won 12 of the 13 tackles. They had good defensive masterclass. And, hey, they're in the playoffs too, and they'll take that. USLChampionship.com with the coverage there. Colorado taking on Las Vegas. Feldberg firing the switchbacks past the lights in a 1-0 home win. The breakthrough coming in the second half, 54th minute, when Duke Lacroix surged up the left wing, delivered a pinpoint cross to Jonas Feldberg, who coolly slotted home from close range. From there, the switchbacks defense took over, winning 7 of 8 tackles and intercepting 4 key passes to lock down the clean sheet. Dominant midfield display on the night from Colorado against Las Vegas. 78.1% pass accuracy, 13 first half shots, and a clinical combination between Lacroix and Feldberg to get that 1-0 victory at Widener Field to stay alive in the Western Conference playoff race. Las Vegas, nothing to play for. As we know, they're bottom of the Western Conference. Ashley Perslow with the coverage there for Colorado Springs Switchbacks. El Paso taking on Tulsa, 2 teams that have already clinched, but FC Tulsa looking to get the best of the West. And it was drama under the Texas Lights as FC Tulsa battled to snatch a 1-1 draw against El Paso. Tulsa started fast. Trevor Amon striking the post inside 6 minutes. Giordano Coley forcing a fine save just minutes later. Despite the early pressure, it was El Paso who broke through in the 24th minute when Ricky Ruiz's free kick was flicked on by Tumazi to Gabriel Torres, who slotted home from close range. Tulsa pushed for a response, couldn't find a way past Jamali Waite, the Jamaican goalkeeper. El Paso looked set to hold on for a strong defensive showing, but then substitute Stefan Lukic stepping up, curling a spectacular free kick into the top right corner in the 92nd minute to rescue a point. Whether that will be the goal of the week or Mendez's 30-yard strike for Tampa will be the goal of the week, left TBD. But never say die. FC Tulsa earning now 21 points from losing positions this season. El Paso, meanwhile, have extended their unbeaten streak to 5, staying firmly in that top 4 despite the late heartbreak. USLChampionship.com with the coverage there. Indy 11 taking on Loudoun. It was a 2-hour weather delay in Indianapolis, but Indy 11 wasted no time making the wait worthwhile. For those in attendance, 10,000 in attendance, by the way, out of a capacity crowd of 12,531. So quite high up there at the Michael A. Carroll Stadium. Boom. Aiden Quinn spotting a perfect ball over the top to Bruno Rendon in the 11th minute. And he had, just pretty much lobbed the goalkeeper from 30 yards to give the boys in blue an early lead. Indy continued to press as Zielinski went close after halftime, but Loudoun nearly equalized through Riley Bedois, only for Hunter Salt to deny him in a strong save. In the 54th minute, that Rendon struck again, shrugging off a defender to finish calmly into the right corner, double Indy's advantage. Loudoun responded in the 65th minute when Skundrick's shot took 2 deflections before being ruled off an own goal of Cam Lindley. But Indy holding firm through the late pressure to secure a 2-1 win. Quinn having a milestone of his career. His opener was the 10th of the season and the 60th of his USL Championship career, keeping him in contention for the league's Golden Playmaker Award. That was the assist on the opener there for Aiden Quinn. And then Bruno Rendon converting both of his clear chances, giving the Indy the efficiency they've lacked in recent weeks. Could be what they need, the Cuban forward, to take them over the line, possibly, and clinch that last remaining spot in the Eastern Conference. USLChampionship.com with the coverage there. Hounds taking on Monterey Bay, visiting at Cardinal Stadium. Nothing to play for Monterey Bay side of things. And 3 goals on the night. Suber in 27th, Williams in the 73rd, and Walty in the 86th. the Hounds were relentless. A 3-0 victory, 103 entries into the final third compared to Monterey Bay's 44, resulting in 38 touches in the box, 2.15 expected goals on the night. Pittsburgh now winning 4 of their last 5 matches, heading into that regular season finale at home with major momentum. OC taking on Lou. We covered this already, so that was a 0-0 draw. Phoenix took on San Antonio for the last game here, and it was Charlie Dennis, the menace, delivering past San Antonio. Another game without a goal for San Antonio. Phoenix Rising taking a huge step forward toward playoff qualification. The English midfielder nearly opened the score with a long-range effort in the 10th minute. Charlie Dennis, forcing a save from Richard Sanchez. Second later, he got his reward, spinning past the defender after a sharp pass from Darius Johnson. He tried to go for the 1-2 with Darius Johnson, but instead it kind of just fell like Dennis Bergkamp style really neatly for him on the bounce to himself. It was like a self-pass by accident, and he just lofted in his finish to give Phoenix the lead. San Antonio tried to respond to the set-piece routine just after the half-hour mark. Jimmy Mandretta's volley flew narrowly wide. Phoenix continued to create the better chances, including a near miss from Morso on a cheeky chip attempt in the second half. But Phoenix would hold on. Second straight clean sheet and moved in touching distance of that postseason play. And it's now 474 minutes without a goal for San Antonio. 5th straight match without finding the net. Craziness there. 2 matches to preview since we're recording on a Sunday. Birmingham taking on Miami. Nothing to play for, except for bragging rights. Birmingham at home hosting Miami at Protective Stadium. They had won the previous match between the two of them in the USL Championship this season with a 2-1 victory. Obviously, Ronaldo Damas 10 goals in the season. Francisco Monfilio, 13 goals in the season. Birmingham have scored 4 of the goals in the last 5, meanwhile Miami 3 goals in the last 5 matches. So we'll see what happens between those two sides and who will come away with the win to just kind of set the tone for next season, hopefully, between the two sides there. New Mexico taking on Oakland. This was a little bit different. Oakland have already been eliminated. Meanwhile, for New Mexico side of things, they took down Oakland on May 25, 3-0. I think it was May 24th, actually. 3-0. So 3 wins, 2 draws, 3 wins 3 wins for New Mexico, 3 wins for Oakland, 2 draws between the two of them in their kind of last bouts since 2021. Meanwhile, though, Jeff Hurst, a man to watch with 7 goals. Wilson, meanwhile, for Oakland, who's got 15 goals on the regular season. We'll see what happens between those two sides. New Mexico obviously trying to win just to ensure they really have a home game to start their playoff journey. We talked about the league table earlier on, but let's talk about next week's matches as we wrap up the show. So 2 things here to note, right? Game on Wednesday, game on Friday. So the game on Wednesday, Sacramento Republic taking on Charleston Battery. Charleston already clinched. Sacramento, meanwhile, have already clinched as well. Both sides are second place in their respective conferences, so we'll see what happens. It's a good chance to maybe rotate some of the players in the team. I mean, from Sacramento's side, you do have New Mexico right behind you, so you need to win for sure, just to ensure that you can host a match in the post-playoffs. Meanwhile, for Charleston, nothing really to play for them. New Mexico take on Rhode Island on Friday, October 24th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Western, Pacific, I should say. New Mexico will host there, and we'll see what happens between those two sides. New Mexico need to win to ensure they clinch a home berth in the playoffs. Then on Saturday, Loudoun take on North Carolina. Both teams already clinched, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific. Charleston take on Birmingham at home, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific there. Nothing to play for those two sides. Pittsburgh take on Phoenix Rising at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific. Everything to play for Phoenix, albeit they are the better positioned out of all the Western sides with 39 points, 2 points ahead of San Antonio and Colorado respectively, 3 points ahead of Orange County and Lexington. But you don't want to leave these things a chance. A draw will see them through in their visit to Pittsburgh. Possibly a loss, but they'll need favors from their counterparts. The big game to watch for this weekend is Tampa Bay taking on Detroit City at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Saturday. Tampa Bay, if they win against Detroit and Indy lose against OC, then Tampa Bay will be in the playoffs for the 2025 campaign. That is something to keep in mind for Louisville City hosting Hartford on Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific there. I'm sure there'll be a nice Players' Shield celebration, more of that to follow as well. Elsewhere, FC Tulsa take on Colorado Springs at home, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on Saturday. Colorado Springs also have much to play for. They'll certainly need either a draw or a win, depending on what happens between San Antonio and Orange County and Lexington. But better off, why not just secure what you can and take down FC Tulsa on the road to make sure that you are not in a position where you've just won the USL Championship and do not qualify for the playoffs. San Antonio take on El Paso at home, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. I would mark this one as a very important game. We just talked about San Antonio not being able to score. They're on a 4 back-to-back losing streak, and they are at home. So they take on an El Paso side that's already clinched. That'll already see, them doing quite well, right? So what will happen there? We'll just find out. San Antonio will certainly need a win there to just make sure they have some momentum going into the postseason. Monterey Bay taking on Las Vegas Light Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Will close out Monterey's campaign, an abysmal campaign. They started off strong, but they just fizzled out like an open soda. Back-to-back losses for them, but they have 1-1 in their last 5. Meanwhile, Las Vegas have 4 losses from the last 5. Monterey Bay have a chance to send the home fans home happy, those that visit, and set the tone for next season. Then the other game to watch between Tampa Bay, Detroit. Take a look at this one. Orange County taking on Indy 11 Championship Soccer Stadium, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on Saturday, October 25th. This will be a very interesting one. OC off of a win, off of a draw at home. It's a 3-game home stretch for them. It'll be their last home game of the season, arguably if they qualify for playoffs or not. A chance here for OC to do the justice and get the win that they need. It'll be a bloodbath, that game. I don't think it'll be good soccer at all. I think it'll just be who can scrape with the victory. I like OC. I will give them my pick. The fact that they have the home field advantage. It'll be a rowdy crowd that Saturday. Everyone will be in attendance. I'm sure it'll be sold out without a doubt. Man, oh man, I think that'll be something that OC can win and secure their place into the playoffs. But again, if Colorado wins and San Antonio wins and Phoenix wins, that win will do nothing for them. But it's, do what you can and hope for the best regardless. Tampa Bay taking on Detroit. Tampa Bay are home here, and they have a chance to dream. They have a chance to dream. It's much different in the East than it is to the West. And Tampa Bay are taking on one of the teams they're competing with. That's the crazy thing. Do you understand here? I mean, Indy 11, they're going to be away to OC. Tampa Bay take on Detroit. Tampa, if you win this game and Indy loses against OC, you're in the playoffs, which would be in a remarkable comeback. It would be absolutely astonishing if you make it, but you have to take on Detroit. And Detroit know that they have their fate in their hands. Really do. And potentially for Detroit, a draw could be enough. But the thing is, you play before OC and Indy 11. So if you draw Tampa, then you're just praying to God that things work out in Indy's visit to OC. But don't leave it up to chance. Detroit, if you win against Tampa Bay, you are in the playoffs. It's exciting stuff. It is the USL Championship. It is October, and playoffs are around the corner. Thanks as always for listening, everyone. And we'll see each other next time. I should mention as well, final 2 games is Oakland taking on Lexington at home, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific. Lexington have a chance to win against Oakland. Hopefully things go in favor for the other matches. Meanwhile, Sacramento, they'll host Miami at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific on Saturday, October 25th. And that'll do it for us. Welcome back to Talk USL. It's good to be back after the week hiatus. And man, oh man, playoffs are right here, ladies and gentlemen. Talk soon. All the best in a while.